What's up, everyone? It's Rick here with UTVSource.com. Today, you're probably wondering or asking yourselves, why is my car torn apart? Well, I messed it up on my Baja trip, and I'm going through my car, tearing it down, doing a prep, and changing some parts up, a lot of parts up. So while it's blown apart, we're going to be doing some modifications to it. And one of those modifications is going to be a ZRP Zollinger Racing Products rear radius rod plate. So one thing you're going to notice real quick about the ZRP, or the Zollinger Racing Products rear radius rod plate, is it's machined aluminum, 6061, machined aluminum, made in the USA, hence the American flag. It's anodized black, and you can see the tooling paths that they put into it. Really, really high-end, really nice piece. I mean, parts are just getting nicer and nicer and nicer every day in this industry, and it's amazing to see this type of quality out there. So I'm going to make a few changes to my car, and I'm going to go ahead and go with ZRP. And, you know, it's something I've wanted. I've always been, or in the past, I've been running chromoly, and there's nothing wrong with the chromoly radius rods or the chromoly plate. This is just a different option, and I'm going to try some machined parts out, and I'm really excited about it. The reasons you want to change your rear radius rod plate are, there's a lot of them, really. Your radius rods pivot, right? They hold your trailing arms straight as they go through that motion of cycling up. Everything swings in an arc on the radius rods. Everything's transferred to the load right here, pickup points. Everything hits right here through these FK rod ends and to the bolt and to the plate that ties it all together. The material, hear that? That's thin. That tinginess, that's thin material. To give you an example, this is the thickness that comes on the factory radius rod plate. It's not much. In fact, you can sit here and I can bend it. You see that? I can bend that. So all that load going through your range of motion at droop and bump comes into here, hits these bolts, into this sheet metal, if you even want to call it that, and into this plate. That isn't really going to do a whole hell of a lot. When the load's coming in here, this plate's flexing. So is this. This isn't going to help any if you're going hard. In fact, when you break a radius rod, a factory radius rod, or you break your factory radius rod plate, you're not just breaking the plate or your radius rods, you're going to damage your trailing arms. Because it's on a rotating motion, right? It's rotating. It's in that motion. You bend one of these radius rods because the radius rod plate's bent, that arm's gonna fold, or the radius rod's gonna fold, and in that range of motion, it's gonna pull your trailing arm in and under on itself, and you're gonna bend your trailing arm. It happens all the time. Not only will you bend your trailing arm, you're probably gonna hurt your chassis, and you're probably gonna mess up your shock. Pretty expensive. Big repair. So the benefits, you're deleting this stuff that you can sit here and bend. I can't bend this. This is going to be really hard to bend. Really hard to bend. This is a really nice piece. Zollinger Racing Products nailed it. It's not the only machined radius rod plate out there in the market. There's quite a few others. This is just the one that I'm going to go with on my car, so I get to use it as a great example as to why you'd want to upgrade from this to this. I mean, that's a huge difference. These aren't very expensive. They're customizable. You can get them in black. You can get the pole ring in red or machined, bare, raw. You can powder coat these if you like. They're just really nice parts, and they don't cost a lot of money. It's a big upgrade. It's like putting a bulkhead on the rear of your car. We all put bulkheads on the front of our car. Well, there's no difference from the front to the rear. They all see the same load as you're going through, you're cycling your suspension. Everything's picked up in the rear as well as in the front. In fact, we put tires up there, aftermarket exhausts. We load them up with bigger wheels and tires. We've put that leverage out there. It all goes somewhere, and it's always into your chassis. So this is going to strengthen all this up. It's going to make sure that we don't bend this that's welded into your chassis. You're not going to, odds are you're not going to damage this if you have something like this on there. There's, you got to be careful on a few things. Some aftermarket cages will not allow you to run this because their cage will come through and act as your radius rod plate. So if you have a cage like that, this is not the part for you. Don't order this because you can't use it, okay? So be mindful of what you're doing when you're buying parts. All in all, it goes on really easy. I've got this mocked up as an example. I've got my car torn down right now, but the rear radius rod bolts on the factory Can-Am, they have a plate on the inside that's this thickness as well to keep these together, right? To try and help not spread the load. But this plate comes into the backside, and again, it bends that easy. So you can also, one of the big benefits is, I'll slide one of these off. They waller out. You can waller out your actual chassis bulkhead. The tolerance on a machined part is going to be a lot better than the tolerance on a stamped out piece from the factory, okay? So easy install on this too. You undo your bolts, you throw that in the trash. Hear that? This is solid. And it simply just slides on. Factory hardware. And you can see that the tolerance on the Zollinger Racing Products machined rear radius rod plate is tighter for the bolt than the tolerance on the factory sheet metal. So this is going to make it where these are actually tied together strong. Like you have a box here, so this point is strong to that point. This point to that point is strong. This point to that point. It's all stronger now because the hole inside is tighter. So it's not going to allow you to waller out a larger hole in your factory chassis. It also gives you a nice place to strap your car down or get towed out. So all in all, there's so many benefits to rear radius rod plate versus this that bends. And remember, this is the same thickness as this. And if I can bend this, you can bend this. These are all leverage points. This is where everything comes to. When you're cycling your suspension, everything is coming into that. This is your added protection right here. This radius rod plate from ZRP, and you can get it at utvsource.com. So I encourage you guys to follow us at UTVSource on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at UTVSource. Check out the stories. That's where the bangers always happen. We run awesome promos for you, our customers, to get the parts that you need, not the parts that are going to fail, right? That's the whole point of all this. We're giving you an education on why we think these are good parts and why we run them and why we recommend them to our customers. We want to make sure that when you go out and play and you're spending thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, depending on your budget, where you're going, that your trip's going to last and your car's going to hold up, right? So this isn't going to last. The stock one's not going to last. Your stock radius rods aren't going to last, you know? They're designed to fail, right? They are designed to fail. That's how these cars have always been put together. In my opinion, but they're designed to fail. So, Zollinger Racing Products, made in the USA. Customizable rear radius rod pole plate. Can-Am Polaris. And I'm sure they're probably going to be making stuff for the Honda and the Kawasaki. You got to check in, check out the website. If you have any questions, email us, rick@utvsource.com or matt@utvsource.com. We'll get right back to you guys. So, thanks for your time today. Can't go wrong with billet machine made in America parts. Later, guys.